Morning, welcome back to my channel. For the ones that don't know nothing about me, my name is Angel and I've been living in Mexico, Querétaro, Mexico to be more specific, for over 2 years. And I just want to share how my personal experience living here in the city. My wife and I, we moved from Texas, as I just mentioned, over 2 years ago. What I can say, if you guys are coming from the US or Canada, this city might be the best one for an easy transition. I know like older people, usually they move to the smaller towns in Mexico, more Mexican, I guess. This is a mid-sized city, and since we've been living here, I mean, the city is just it's been growing like crazy. And some things might become a challenge, like driving and stuff. But I don't want to sound negative about it. I mean, those are things that there's a lot of things that you need to get used to it. Otherwise, Mexico is just not gonna be for you. It's not gonna work out for you. Everyone's experience is gonna be different. I'm just sharing mine, and just to give you an idea what to expect. Because when you, let's say anywhere you go, if you go there for 2 weeks, even a month, honestly, it's not the same than actually living here now. You know, because we came here 7 years ago, and of course we liked the city a lot. We liked a lot of things, but yeah, I mean, we were here for about 2 weeks or whatever. So yeah, I mean, it's always better to visit the place and ask around, especially the locals. Don't ask people that just live here for 2 weeks, 2 months, 6 months. They won't give you a really honest opinion. Well, they'll give you their personal experience. So I mean, for me, that doesn't work. So you're gonna realize other things, you know, while you're living here that you probably didn't realize for the short period of time that you came here, or any other part of Mexico. And now, since we had a chance to visit other parts of Mexico, other towns, other cities, that's why it's time for us to move out of here. And we have our personal reasons why, which I'm gonna share with you, and that might be something that you might want to consider. Right now, I am on my way to the gym. I'll be sharing my experience while I work out, and then so you guys can see how my experience has been. So right now, I bought a house here. I own my place, and yeah, it makes a big difference because, you know, we don't pay rent. And so yeah, that really makes a big difference. I live in the northeast of the city. I mean, compared to the US, these are like the suburbs. It's more quiet. It's not traditional because everything here is pretty much new construction, and all these areas are still under development, but they're growing really fast. So if you drive, if you bring your car, or even if you buy a car here because you want to be more dependable, you don't want to depend on Ubers and stuff like that, the driving here is going to be a little challenging because of the way people drive here. I'll say the driving is a little more aggressive. They don't use their turning signals. They sometimes slam on the brakes. Even where I'm driving right now, I mean, I run into car accidents almost every day, and if we run into one right now, I won't be surprised. So what I do, I just literally, as you can see, I stay in the middle and I just let everybody else pass me. I used to get really irritated in the beginning, but obviously that wasn't really helping because it just takes some getting used to, and you'll get used to it though. Same thing with the dogs. You are gonna hear dogs in churches, bells banging quite often. Not where I live, but especially down here in the centro, or like any really local Mexican neighborhood, you'll get more of that. Yeah, I mean, in the beginning was really challenging, the noise and everything that I just mentioned, but you'll get used to it. Now, obviously, you know, living over 2 years, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much used to it. They don't really bother me anymore. I mean, you'll get used to it. I mean, you got to put some effort into it, to be honest. But there's people out there that they just won't handle it, because it seems like anywhere out of the U.S. or Canada is just really loud and noisy. And you know, Mexico is it's not an exception. It seems like Mexicans, they tolerate noise, and yeah, that's fine. It's their culture, so they for them it's normal, really. But for the ones that came from from the U.S., Europe, Canada, I guess it's just a little more to handle, a little more difficult to get used to it. And some people, they just they don't get used to it. And yeah, I mean, sure, I seen especially on the Facebook groups, or even people telling me, oh, I really want to embrace the culture, the people, stuff like that. No, you won't. And I'm telling you, you won't. You say that just to sound nice, but you won't embrace the culture all the way. Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm sure you're gonna attend some Mexican festivities and stuff like that, but like the actually embrace the culture, I don't think so. I mean, just because you're living here for less, and that's the truth. You know, a lot of us move here because the cost of living is less. Is less, especially if you're making dollars. I mean, let's be honest. A lot of people say, "Oh, well, you know, I love the culture, I love the food." Yeah, sure, the culture is great, the food is amazing, but the main reason is because it's more affordable. I mean, that's my case. I mean, it's not like I'm broke, but I mean, for me, it's cheaper to live here than back in Texas. In Texas, it used to be really cheap. Now you have all these Californians moving to Texas. Now the prices are, increasing. I mean, when I sold my house, a guy from California bought the house, which, yeah, sure, he paid more because, they're coming from California and they're bringing more money and stuff. So I guess if you're selling anything in Texas, sure. But if you're buying, it's a different conversation. So now, as you can see, over 2 years ago, the traffic, it wasn't as bad as it is now. And of course, more people are moving, including myself. I used to have 2 cars because we came here with a truck because I brought a lot of tools and personal stuff, not furniture. I didn't bring no furniture. I bought everything new here. And since the city is so close to the state of Mexico, Mexico City, a lot of them are moving here. But you'll encounter people from basically all over the country, and of course from the U.S., South America, Europe, Asia. There's a lot of the Korean population here is pretty big because there's a lot of Korean companies in town. Querétaro is an industrial city. There's a lot of factories, manufacturers here from all over. But it's still a great place, don't get me wrong. I mean, you'll find a lot of things like in the US, like H-E-B, Walmart, Home Depot, blah, 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 all that stuff. And also you have a lot of, moms and pop shops, like little, fruterias and all that stuff. And transition. That's one thing I can tell you. The transition is really easy here. It's not, but if you're not willing to drive and deal with traffic and all that jazz and car insurance and all that stuff, you can, live around here. I'm literally downtown, and there's a lot of Airbnbs and rentals around here. Because actually here, even the gym that I work out, I run into a lot of foreigners almost every day, and people that just come here for a few months, or they've been living here for a year or two. And this area is really walkable. Basically, there's stores, there's restaurants, the public transportation is all day long, and a lot of people that basically don't want to drive and they want to be in a walkable area. This is the area right here where I'm driving at. You can see the aqueduct, the famous Querétaro aqueduct, and then I'm about to turn right, and then the next 2 blocks over, I'm gonna turn another right. But if you keep going straight, you'll basically hit downtown El Centro. So literally 5 more minutes drive, if that. So one thing I highly recommend is, if you're really coming here, You just come in here with the bad attitude, with a different attitude, not willing to basically at least get used to the culture, because you won't embrace the culture all the way. I don't care what you say, and if you do, you are probably the 1%, because even most of us we won't embrace culture. Since we are only the 1% coming into this country, we're not responsible for the prices going up. Some Mexicans, they have that impression that a lot of foreigners are responsible for gentrification or rising the prices up. No, I don't agree with that. Why? Because all the owners here are locals, are Mexican. They're not foreigners. So that being said, when they see an American and they see a Mexican, even Mexicans like locals, they told me I'd rather rent it or I'd rather sell it to an American than a Mexican. Why? Because they'd be willing to pay more. So who's taking advantage of who? Their own. So it's not us. It's my personal opinion, because I asked before. I asked locals. I speak Spanish as well, and that's why I know. So try to get used to it. If you are moving here and start complaining right away, which yeah, we all do, I get it, it's gonna be harder for you to get used to it. So the sooner you adapt to the way people live here, you're gonna be happier sooner. So that's my take on that. You do what you think is best for you. All right, let's do the second set. Let's talk about safety. Is it safe in Querétaro? In my personal experience, yeah. Since I've been living here, I never felt threat or never felt unsafe. I mean, I use common sense. I don't really go out at night. I don't party. I mean, I'm a person that I stay basically pretty good shape for the most part. So being in shape, one of the things is, you gotta stay away from alcohol and going out, partied, and all that shit. Yeah, I mean, I do drink. Yeah, I do drink, but it's just at home. And honestly, it's really rare if you see me driving at night. So yeah, the city is pretty safe. I mean, yeah, sure, you might see on the local news and stuff, people getting jacked, just like petty crime. But lately, I noticed cartel activity, and actually the last 1 month, people have been getting killed in their homes and shit like that. But like I always say, if you're on the wrong, they're gonna find it sooner or later. They're gonna come and get you. So yeah, I mean, it's safe, but use your common sense. That's all. Services. For anyone that is looking for an easy transition, this place is gonna be the place for you. You pretty much are gonna find the same services as like in my own experience, like back in Texas. Store-wise, internet, everything. I know, like this year, Mexico went through a little water problem, so a lot of places, especially like the low-income neighborhoods, weren't getting water on a daily basis. Sometimes every other week, and not my case. I mean, I guess the benefit on living in a, I guess, more expensive area. And don't take it wrong. I mean, it's just the way it is. I didn't experience any of that. But I spoke to like locals, like here, this gym or other gyms, that they were basically not getting water. They were out of water, so they had to buy these big pipe water trucks or whatever, because they weren't getting any water from the city. Sure, I pay more for water where I live, but I guess that goes with everything. But yeah, I mean, services, amenities, yeah, the city has it all. Okay, now we're gonna talk about prices. As I mentioned, I own my own place here, so I don't pay rent. So I want to give you the prices that I spend in dollars, so that way it's easy for you. Also, of course, it all depends on the exchange rate. Right now, it's actually pretty good. It's almost back to 20, but I know like in the beginning of the year it was all the way down to 16. So I'm not including rent, but if you want to live basically in a nice place, you'll be expecting to pay from $700 to all the way to $1,500. It all depends on your budget and how much or where you want to live. I guess you gotta browse around the city and see what area you like the best. If you want something walkable, here, downtown. It's not even, it's a no-brainer. But if you, but have in mind that living here in El Centro, it's more noise, more people, more going on. We have a lot of more parades and stuff like that. If you want more tranquility, a little more quiet, then you go where I live, like the Mexican suburbs. The rent where I live, or in the area that I live, they can go from $400 to $800. Groceries. It all depends on your lifestyle. Myself and my wife and I, we cook a lot, so we eat a lot at home because obviously we stay in really good shape, but we go out at least once a week. So right now, if you're active, if you work out almost on a daily basis, for some reason Mexican gyms are more expensive than at least back in Texas. This one here is actually one of the cheap ones that I work out, but I mean, the ones from my house, one of them, I think they charge $80 per month, which is outrageous because it's not even close to, like LA Fitness or Lifetime. So I remember I used to work out a Lifetime Fitness and I used to pay like $90, but not even a comparison. So as you can see, gyms here are, this one is actually pretty decent size, but the equipment can be a little beat up if you ask, but I mean, it's still functional. Well, here you got 1, 2, 3 treadmills, 3 or 4 treadmills that don't even work, and who knows when they're gonna fix it, to be honest with you. So yeah, if you do CrossFit, same thing, you might spend more money here. Why? I have no idea. So it's just the way it is here. You gotta shop around. A lot of times it's convenience. I mean, if you don't have a car, or even if you have a car and you're not willing to drive far, I mean, I guess just stick with whatever is closest for you. Myself, I have to drive about 20 minutes, and I don't mind driving, to be honest. Well, sometimes I do, but I mean, this one, like I said, it has basically everything that I need. The price is not bad, and sure, you can say, well, you have a gym literally 10 minutes walk from your house. Sure, but the gym is more expensive. Sure, I'm spending maybe more on gas, but also I'm the type of guy that if the atmosphere in that place is just not there, it's just like a job. You can be making a lot of money, but if you're miserable, you hate your coworkers, and you don't like where you work or who you work for, same thing. The gym is the same thing. You can be in a really cheap gym or in a really badass gym, but if the atmosphere, the people is just, whatever, you won't be happy working out. I mean, I do have a mini split in the house, so the months that are really hot here in Querétaro are from May all the way through July, I guess. Maybe, yeah, July. So 3 out of 4 months, I'll say, they get really hot in Mexico, especially the last couple of years. It seems like it's been hotter than before. So since we use the mini splits, especially at night, I think my bill was, the most expensive one was for $100, maybe $120. But have in mind, this is every other month. We don't pay monthly. Here in Mexico, you pay the electrical bill every other month. So basically, I pay $60 per month, which is still cheaper than back in Texas. And then, of course, but for the most part, we don't really use the AC units. I mean, I have a ceiling fan in the master, and I have a floor fan, and for the most part, you can be pretty comfortable with that. But I know the last couple of years, it's been hotter than normal, and not only here in Mexico. That happened pretty much all over the place. Alright, I'm pretty much done with my back workout, and I just want to share my final thoughts about living here in Querétaro. Overall, it's a good place. It's a good place to, for some people, moving into a smaller town might be easier, but if you're coming from a city in the US or Canada, probably moving to a city like this one, maybe Mexico City or Guadalajara might be a better option. And yeah, for us it's been pretty smooth. I mean, we have to overcome some challenges, but like I said, they're minor. They're willing to work with those challenges. So, but yeah, I mean, early next year, summer, no, springtime next year, we are relocating. So, after living over 2 years, almost 3 years by the time we live here, I mean, it's time to make some money out of it. So, I wanted to tell you is that if you are planning to come here, make sure that you're gonna be willing to embrace a little bit, because I know you won't, the culture and trying to adapt to the culture and to the people. Unfortunately, I've seen in a lot of these Facebook pages that people request English speaking people for certain services. Yeah, I know, I get it, and I know you'll find them, but it's still, I think it's embarrassing that, especially Americans and Canadians are so crybabies. They are the ones that always crying about little shit, and I can tell you that because I do have a neighbor. He's from Washington State, and this fucking guy, I used to hang out with him, and honestly, I stopped hanging out with him because this guy, he be whining and crying about everything, every little thing. He be whining, and I mean, he's an older guy, and he married a Mexican, but still, I'm like, dude, why do you even move here? And he's not willing to learn fucking Spanish. He told me straight out, no, I'm not willing to learn Spanish. That's why I have her, like, meaning his wife. And that's cool, but I won't be relying on her all the time, to be honest with you. What if something happens and she's not able to talk or translate for me? Anyway, so I just want to share that. Just trying to learn some Spanish. I know you're not gonna become fluent, and just try not to bring your attitude as well, because they won't like that here. You are a foreigner living here. You're just like everybody else, and learn how to fucking tip. Don't over tip, because you only hurting other foreigners and especially the locals. Yeah, that's one thing. It's a topic that I seen all the time. Oh, how much should I tip? How much this? How much that? Just do it like a local. That's all. Plain and simple. It's really simple, trust me. So overall, this is a great city to live. But if you're willing to work with those challenges, you will overcome those challenges quick. And you will get used to it. Used to the noise, the dogs barking all the time, the rockets, all that stuff. I'm good now. So that's why I'm ready to move to a different place. All right, I'm finally home. I just finished my third meal. As I told you, I eat a lot, at least 5-6 times a day. So I'm gonna have on the screen basically my monthly expenses here in Mexico, not including rent, but I'm gonna just put the rent out there just so you guys can have an idea how much you might need to live here in Querétaro. Also, Querétaro is one of the most expensive cities in the country, and yeah, definitely I can see that, because when we go to Vallarta, basically everything is about the same, to be honest. Maybe gasoline might be a little more expensive, but not much. So as you can see on the screen, all the prices are in there. We don't pay rent because we own our home, and but just have that in mind. So if you are in a tight budget, just shop around. There is other parts in Mexico that are a little more affordable than, let's say, here, Chapala, San Miguel. San Miguel definitely is really expensive, and yeah, I mean, city is great for the ones that like to live in a city vibe, and for us, it's not longer an option. Not because we don't like it. Yes, we do like it, but we just want to be in a different place with, I guess, a little less going on. So that being said, I hope you liked the video and you learned something from the video. Like and share, and have in mind, this is my personal experience. This is my personal budget, so yours might be different. It all depends on your lifestyle. So see you later.